Hello everybody, welcome back to the workshop. Time for another blacksmith question of the day. Let's get right into it. Our first question comes in from Bottega channel, and it was on, let's see here, look at it here. Is sand good for forge welding? Oh, great question. We're going to go into it. It says, thank you for posting the info you have learned, Roy. I appreciate it. You're very welcome. Hashtag question of the day. That's another good hashtag you can use. Again, highlights it in blue. Appreciate that. May we please have more instruction videos on how to forge aluminum or non-ferrous metals, etc. Example, copper, brass, bronze. Yes, so the Bottega channel, I would love to take and do some more videos or a more in-depth study at some point on those. I do have some projects much later down the road planned that will be using bronze, silver, and a few other non-ferrous metals. As far as aluminum goes, though, I don't really do a ton in aluminum. I did one video on how to forge aluminum, or a technique that I use in showing how you can use a piece of pine to determine the forging heat of some aluminums, and that video was pretty good and pretty popular. If I think about it, I'll put a link to that in the description down below so you can check that video out if you want. But as far as the bronze and other things, I would love to do some more in-depth tutorials on forging those, because non-ferrous metals are very interesting metals to forge because they just don't act and react the same as steel does. And they have some things that make it a lot easier to take and mess with, either whether it be through machining, doing lathe work, file work, you name it, and they can really help you enhance your ironwork. So yes, I do have plans on doing that. Great question. Thank you for the suggestion, and it is duly noted. Moving on. So the next one here is not necessarily a question, but I'm going to take and read it out anyhow. It came from a John Kolterchick that said, and I'm sorry if I butchered your last name there, it said, I do not agree with you. If you're older, just get a treadle hammer, power hammer, or forge press or fly press. There's always chilling out there to help as long as you can. Pick up at least a 1 pound hammer to do all your planishing. So I do not agree with you. So if you're going to have a disagreement with me online, you need to first of all take and speak kind of legibly, if you can, in your comments. Now, this isn't just a dig at you. This is, I get this a lot, that you maybe just voice type it. Always be sure to check your voice typing, so this way I can understand what you're doing. The reason why I'm pointing out this comment is I've had a couple questions that come in, or questions of the day, that I haven't used in the videos because they were kind of unlegible. Like I couldn't figure out the broken English, so to speak. And so if you're going to disagree, try to do a better job with that. Now, he may be from, John, you may be from a different country, and I apologize if the translation's a little off there. But again, that's what I wanted to say about that comment, and that came in on the question of the day, too old to blacksmith. I don't think I mentioned anything in that video that was particularly disagreeable. Of course, I've been found out wrong on that before, or as people have told me. But when it comes to, say, not agreeing with me online, this is a great case where John has he's posed it in a non-confrontational way. He's stating he doesn't agree with me on a point of view or belief system, but he hasn't gotten petty with his commentary. I know it's very easy in today's online space to get real petty with your commentary out there, because it's just easy to spout something off that you say. But the problem is online, it doesn't give it any context on the backside, right? Like, we don't know who you are, so we don't know why you're cussing at us across the internet. So again, if you disagree with something I've said in a video, or you have something like that, please speak it legibly first, in the comment section, and then be behaved when you do it. Remember, keep respect at an utmost importance here on this channel. Otherwise, there's always that block button, and I'm more than happy to use it. as we block about 300 users a year just for going absolute insano at us for no apparent reason. They just have a really bad day. So again, if you're having a bad day, probably don't want to get online and make comments on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube. That's my motto. It's just best not to take and make comments when you're emotionally charged, right? So again, thank you, John, for putting that out there that you disagree with me about one part of whatever it was. I would like to know more about what that is that you had disagreed with me on. That makes a little more sense. So let's get into the next question. Just an FYI information there, though. Next question comes in from Bob Smith. Hashtag question. He almost got it right. He put the of the day, but he didn't write it as a one whole sentence. When you do hashtags, ladies and gents, you want to make sure that you write it as all one word, and that's how the hashtag will all show up blue. But as long as the hashtag question comes up, we're A-OK. So thank you for using that. It says, is there anything I should be concerned about forging stainless steel? I scrounge. Someone told me some stainless off-gases toxic stuff, and I'm uncertain if I should continue using it. I love working it though, and it comes out so pretty. Okay, great question. This has some elements of safety in there, and it also has some elements about scrounging and toxic gases and, the prettiness of stainless steel. Stainless steel is perfectly safe and fine for you to take and forge. I dislike stainless steel myself because hand forging it, I have always found, is an absolute bear. It really resists hand forging pretty well. If you get it under a power hammer or press, things move along swimmingly, like as if they would, on a power hammer or press. As far as the stainless steel off-gassing, every metal that you have actually puts off a gaseous kind of thing, so I've been told. Hot metal that is heated up releases some form of vapor to it. Don't know if there's anything to that or not. That's what I've been told. The big deal here is don't sniff the metal. Don't get your face where you're getting right up close to the metal while it's hot. Don't be leaning clear over the anvil where you're directly above a billet that's going on. One thing that I can relate to this is back in my earlier days when I used a lot of borax and flux because I thought I needed it for weld and I was overfluxing everything, the vapors that would come up off of that, they would just give me nasty sinus infections because I would be, I'd be trying to make my weld and I was standing stooped over and I was getting all those vapors, that steam that you see that comes off of the welding stuff sometimes. And I was in a really cramped, condensed shop and it was very difficult to get good ventilation in there. And it would just give me some nasty sinus infections. So that is a very real danger, but as long as you're in a very ventilated shop, a well-ventilated shop, and you are taking precautions not to directly breathe in the material. So if you have a proper forge hood installed that's wicking away any smoke from your fire or anything like that, or you have air that's blowing through your shop and exiting your shop somehow, an exhaust system where you're constantly being giving clean air in your environment, you should be perfectly safe and sound. Now, what some people believe is stainless steel is actually zinc covered bar. Now you like stainless steel, so I'm sure this isn't the case. You know what that is. You know what stainless steel looks like. But where you get into problem is when you get into steels that have super high chromium contents, and the chromium, the vanadium, and when you have the steels that have like zinc and some of those elements in there that can off-gas and are known to cause different nerve damages and things like that in your body, respiratory illnesses and things of that nature, those you want to take and stray away from. Not all stainless is created the same. So again, look at the manufacturer's tables on the stainless that you're planning on using. If you're scrounging the stainless, I know I'm going long-winded here, ladies and gents, bear with me. If you're scrounging the stainless steel, you can take it to a scrapyard and have them test it. Most scrapyards have a testing gun, and they can test it for you to tell you what it is, what type of material you're dealing with and what its potential makeup is, and you can compare that to an online data sheet. And that should get you pretty close on whether it's safe or not to be using. But I've forged stainless. I haven't had any ill effects of it so far, but again, I forge it very little. I mean, almost non-existent in order for me to have to worry about that. And most people, I surmise, are doing this as a hobby for the most part and not professionally speaking. And so therefore the risk even goes down at that, because you're working maybe 3 or 4 hours, 2-3 times a week, whereas if you were smithing professionally, you might be forging, 8-9 hours a day, 365. There's going to be a big difference in the health risk on that end of the spectrum. But great question, Bob Smith. I hope that, I hope that encourages you that you could still forge stainless steel. Plenty of guys do, and you can still make pretty objects out of it. Again, just be safe out there. Use a little bit of common sense, but the danger really isn't that high on stainless. So that's it, I believe, for this segment of Blacksmith Question of the Day. Thank you for anybody who has hung in with me to this point. If you liked this video, hit that like button, share it with some friends if you get a chance. Also, drop a comment down in the comment section of questions that are eating at you and nagging at the back of your mind that you want me to answer. Use the hashtag Blacksmith Question of the Day, or Question of the Day if you want to shorten it up, but make it all one word, so this way it highlights up in blue for me. This way I can find it very easily. Anyways, that's it for today. God bless you. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, we'll catch you on the next one.